Hi everyone, I'm going to do my reflection on the gospel for today. And it's that parable of the sowing of the seeds, about how when God plants something, the word, it goes out and it doesn't return to God without fruit. So our God is a very funny God, because normally if you look at the people he's talking to ordinary people, people like you and me, displaced people, people living under harsh governments, people who have to watch what they say and watch what they do, and have to show respect for the elites. It's the exact same culture with the exact same cruelty and penalties. They had crucifixion in those days, which was the ultimate price. Today we have different forms of penalty. But he's speaking to them about a God that scatters his grace all over. It's to every heart, just scatter it all over. Normally if you think of the farmers he was talking to, or the shepherds, the people, the fishermen, normally you would plan like, okay, this is good soil, we've done our evaluation, this is where the best chances of getting a fruitful yield are. So we'll choose the best people. I'll choose the best people to go out to be my workers in my field. But our God is a funny God. He doesn't do that. He just sends this grace out to everywhere. And then he expects us to nurture it. But some of us, that faith gets stifled, our voices get stifled, our incomes get cut off, we don't get the work we should, because we're not following the line of what we're supposed to say and do. We're not seeing the things that we are supposed to see. But God asks us to see and to hear and to understand, so that our hearts would be healed. And so we close our hearts to the world, but we open our hearts to God's grace. And when we open our hearts to God's grace and we deepen ourselves in that grace, then we see the fruit of that come about. And Jesus teaches in stories, in parables, because especially for people like me who come from very poor backgrounds, very disadvantaged families, we're more likely to remember a story we heard that a teacher told us than we are to remember to recite and learn the whole Bible by verbatim. And so Jesus does the same thing. He teaches in stories, he teaches in parables about what this grace is, what this means for his people. And that's what I found important in the scriptures, in the Gospels, that even though I might think that, you know what, I'm the unworthy one, I'm the one that's being pushed from one contract to the next contract, I'm the one that's always broke, I'm the one that never has any money, and I'm made to be a beggar when I have the best education, the best skills, and I should be able to relocate and go anywhere in the world to get an executive assistant job or an HR generalist job. But because people are stopping it, I can't do that. So what God sees and what I see is completely different. And God's way is completely different to my way. And I think that's what's important in the parable today. It's about the conversion of our hearts, the conversion of how we hear things, how we see things. Because the ones that others despise, the ones that others reject, like me, are the ones that God chooses to say, I want you to be my voice. I want you to tell people the good news. I want you to help others who are going through your same experience of being displaced, of being broken, of being unemployed. And today is the World Day of Hope. So hope is something we cannot we cannot completely explain, but hope is what is offered to us in that gospel today, in Jesus' message. And he doesn't explain everything to them because he gives them something to go away and think about. But he explains everything to us because we have the scriptures and we can read those scriptures and we can understand. But again, we have to put our faith in the Lord and we have to keep pressing forward because it's only a small group of people that have changed this world and that have brought about things that are better for people, things that are good for people. And even if you listen to some of these very esteemed professors, there was a professor that went to Wits, he calls us the do-gooders. So yeah, we are the do-gooders, but that's what our lives are about. Our lives are about doing good in as far as we can. Nobody chooses unemployment. Nobody chooses to be displaced. No, nobody's a fool. I don't say, yeah, I'm going to leave this job. I'm leaving this job just because I know there's something better out there for me. I'm not stupid. But this is the kind of grace that God offers us. The grace of perseverance. The grace of knowing that He's a God that is very abundant. He's the God that waits for us to come back to Him. And when we come back to Him, He doesn't say, where were you? My eldest son was here with me all this time and now you came back after going and spending my money on whatever you're doing and you landed up living in a pigsty and now you're coming back. He comes out running to say, you came home, welcome home to me. So that's the funny God. He's a funny God, you know. He just gives like that abundantly to everybody. And then we have to nurture that so that the choking of our voices, the choking of our hearts, the choking of our minds doesn't come about, because we're living in a very controlled society. We're living in a society in Canada where you can't post the news on Facebook, where if you speak out against racism, you get told you are the racist one. And yet you came here from South Africa or Zimbabwe. You grew up under apartheid. So it's a very upside down world that Jesus brings to those living under oppression, to those who are broke, to those who have no income, like me. And that's where we find that message of hope, that message to say that God's grace is given freely to everyone. It's like the sun. You can't tell the sun, don't shine everywhere on this earth, just shine on Belinda's apartment, okay? Because this is the one God chose, so don't make your sun shine everywhere all over the earth. That's how God's grace is.